The next big one we do a lot of is we can add custom side panes. So these do a lot. This interface is fully custom. I've built one here, a very simple ERP integration one just for demo sake. But we use these to integrate with lots of third-party systems. If you have a complex command suite, if you're doing full geometry automation, sometimes we'll build a very large toolbar up here with 20 different commands. That's a step-by-step process to automate the assembly creation or complex parts. In other cases where there's a lot of business logic and a lot of decisions to be made along that process, we'll build you a user interface in here. And then, like I said, I'm going to keep coming back to this, but that's completely custom. So anything you can imagine, we can put in here. This is essentially a separate program running inside of SolidWorks. So for this demo, we're just going to connect to an ERP that doesn't exist. Like I said, this is all demo data. ERP integrations, you're typically synchronizing BOM data. So in this case, we'll show a BOM here from a fictional assembly. We could fetch parts from SolidWorks and or the ERP and synchronize them. And then typically you'd have some kind of process where you would want to go ahead and synchronize said part, send it to the ERP. When we do this, we typically highlight the differences between the data too. So if typically your CAD is going to be one revision ahead of what's in your ERP until it gets released, and then we'll show the differences and you can decide what to do with that. So simple demo there, but like I said, this can be whatever you need it to be. Larger integrations typically take place in a custom task pane like this. One more thing inside of SolidWorks is we can add context commands or right click. So if I right click this face here, I've got a context menu here called CAD Sharp ERP. Now again, these commands can be whatever you need them to be. They can manipulate geometry. In this case, I'm demonstrating an ERP integration use case, so I have some ERP specific commands here. The use case for these commands is context, right? So I know what was right clicked, in this case, that face. So just to prove that, let's say there's an issue with this that I want to create in my change tracking system. So it knows, in this case, I just show a dialog box to prove that we know what the selection is. In this case, it's selected face. Because I now have that object, I know which part that face belongs to and which assembly that part is contained in. So that's full context, and we can get custom properties from the part if we needed to at that point and create the issue in the ERP. So in terms of user interface, that's what we can do inside of SolidWorks. So we can add buttons, custom task panes, custom features with property managers. And then the functionality is limited to your imagination, budget, and use case. Pretty much everything you can do in SolidWorks manually can be done programmatically. So if you can define the logic on paper, especially the business logic, we can write code that makes that happen automatically. So like Tanner said, anything that you're doing a lot, repetitive actions or complex actions that take too long, there's a good use cases for automation. So simple ROI analysis, right? If my designers are spending 2 hours a day on this particular task and it's always the same set of business logic, well, there's pretty good use or pretty good business case there to automate it. And that's what we do.